solely for storage to get my gear off the floor of the Jeep. That way I'm not worried about throwing something back here and getting out in the woods and I find out I have a gigantic hole punched through my rain fly or something of that nature. So this is just nothing more for just to store it, get it up off the floor, get it out of the way, and just make room for even more stuff. This is going to be, once again, on a budget. We're going to be using 2 items to do this. Both these items cost less than 20 bucks a piece. And I'm not going to show you what they are right now. You're just going to have to follow along on the video and find out as we go along. But for getting this done, this is sub $40, and it's going to get everything out of the way, up off the floor. I don't have to worry about punching holes in anything, and it's going to make life a little bit easier on me. And then whenever I do go out, I have more room for things like my cooler and whatever else that I need to bring with me. If my son decides to come with me, I'll have room for his gear, so on and so forth. So with that being said, let's get to it. Alright, so now that we got all the gear out of the back end of the Jeep, let's start with the fun stuff and start installing a couple cheap goodies. The first thing I'm going to start with is I want to utilize the space that I have in between my hardtop and the roll bar, and I'm going to do that with one of these cheap $19 Amazon cargo nets. Anybody who's got a Wrangler and it has Amazon, they've seen these and they're like, you know, oh, look at that cheap thing. But my thought on this is it's going to allow me to utilize that space. It's quick, easy Velcro install, and it's not going to be holding any substantial weight, so it doesn't have to be, you know, military grade, Air Force, cargo plane quality, anything like that. You know, all it's doing is holding my shelter system. That's all it's doing. So it doesn't, it's going to be holding maybe 10 pounds at the most. So I think we'll be good to go. So if you want to crawl back in here, first thing I got to do, or first thing I had to do, since I have the sound bar, I took out the 2 back bolts that hold the sound bar onto the roll cage, and then the 2 forward bolts, I loosened them up. That way I have a little bit of play there, because what we're going to have to do is we're going to end up having to slide the first strap up underneath here and get it in between these 2 bolts, so it's going to clear the sound bar. And then after that, we're going to tighten, we'll strap it up onto the end of the bar, put our 2 screws in, make sure we have everything where we want it, and then that'll be that. And that's going to be $20. That's going to potentially save me hundreds of dollars in damaged gear because something got thrown on top of something and got a hole, and I ended up having to replace something. So let's get to installing this, and we'll go from there. Alright, so we got the straps installed on the back side, got the screws put back into the sound bar. So what that's actually going to do for me, since I have those straps in between the 2 screws on the sound bar, is that's going to lock the straps in on the front, so I don't have to worry about it sliding backwards at all. So it's in there, it's locked, it's not going anywhere unless the Velcro gives out. It's a possibility. It is a $20 Amazon thing, but I'll take my chances. So now you're going to see that it's pretty loose and floppy right here, so I'm just going to take my Velcro straps. I'm going to tighten this up on both sides and kind of tighten her up, dress her up a little bit. And do the same thing on this side. Pull her nice and snug. And there we go. Now, somebody's going to point out and they're going to notice, oh, well, Mr. Well, shit, you have your straps on the downhill slope on your bar and everything's going to fall out. I have an answer for that. So my plan is going to involve part 2 of this storage install. But I'll actually have to do that part on another day. So with that being said, let's get on with part number 2 of the install. Alright, so now this is the second part of the install. And what we're going to utilize here is 16 yards of 1-inch nylon webbing. Anybody who's done any camping, backpacking, was in the Boy Scouts, you've all used this stuff. Back in the day, we used to buy it at Walmart, come in the 2 packs, and it was like 48 inches long, $6-7. This here, 16 yards of this material, less than $18. Plus, it also came with 16 individual buckles, so you can custom make your straps to any size that you need them. So, last night I took the liberty with my horrible sewing skills, and I had looped it around, stitched it on that end, got them threaded through on that end. And one thing you want to make sure of, this is the same as paracord. It's nylon, so if you cut it, it's going to fray. So make sure you take your lighter and you burn off the end so it doesn't fray out. And also something too, it's not necessary, but it makes life easier. Whenever you cut your end, cut it at an angle. That way, whenever you're threading it through everything to cinch it all down, it's a lot easier to start with the tip than to go full bore. So, cut it at an angle, gets it in the hole a lot easier. You know, work it in there, get her good and tight, and we're good to go. So, we're going to be using these to take my rucksack. This is a USGI issue medium Alice on the frame, and where it's normally been sitting, it's just been riding right behind my passenger seat there. I take a turn, hit a bump, whatever, it flops over. Next thing I know, the lid on my can of coffee pops off, and I got coffee all over the back end. Smells great, but it gets annoying. So we're going to take the rucksack and we're going to hang it off of the driver's side of the roll bar. I'm choosing this side for a specific reason. Whenever I'm driving and I do a lane check before I merge, I can't look out this window. I can't turn my head that damn far. I'm not a bird. But if I put it on that side, I'm not going to be able to see my blind spot. So we're going to put it over here so it's not going to obstruct any vision for me. And we're going to put 2 straps on the back side of the frame, here and here. We're going to run around the roll bar. We're going to cinch it down. And then we're going to take a 3rd strap. We're going to run it on the side and strap it to the downward tube of the roll bar. And before anybody says, oh, well, Mr. Shit, what are you going to do about the other side? It's going to flop around and be loose. I have that covered. I just don't have it covered today. I have ordered some D-rings that replace the factory hardtop bolts. So whenever I get those in, I'll be able to install one of those. So then I'll be able to securely fasten it on all 4 corners. But just on I think it's going to be okay for right now. It's going to be pretty solid between the 2 straps on the top, the strap down here, and it is going to be somewhat resting on the fender well itself. So I don't think it's going to be any kind of an issue. Let's get to it. So I hope you enjoyed that time-lapse video there. So here's what we got. We got the rucksack hung up. We used our 2 straps up here at the top and our 3rd strap over here on this side. And like I said, when I get those other D-rings in, I'll install a 4th strap on the other corner to really make sure it's not going to go anywhere. But this is exactly what I was going for. It's up off the floor. I'm not doing any backpacking or anything of that nature, so for me, having it strapped up here like this is not going to affect me at all. Everything's still accessible to where I need to get to it. I can get in here. It's not going to obstruct my vision on that side, and it's right here on the end, so I can get to it nice and easily. So I can, all my gear that I have stowed away in there. Nothing's going to tip over, fall. I think that's going to work out excellent for me. So from this point, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to start stashing all my gear up here inside the net, and let's see how all this comes together. So just hang on right there, and let me throw all my gear in the back of the Jeep, and we'll figure this out and see how it all looks. So be back in a second. Alright, so here we are. We're back to my mess, right? So the plan is, that's up out of the way. All this, hopefully, with exception to maybe my chair and my little folding table, I hope I can get it to fit all up in here. Let's find out. May have to take a couple different stabs at this to get it, figure out what's going to work. But, guys, this is all the gear for my hammock setup, by the way. I had no idea whenever I decided to get a hammock. So we'll start off with the big one first. This is the Cullah. That's the big boy. So we're going to shove that guy up in there. Hope I don't break none of these straps. And fortunately, all this stuff is soft. There's nothing rigid, so it works out great. So I'm going to start off. I'll put the underquilt over here on this side. Get that guy up in there. Shove her up as far back as we can. Alright. So next. Funny story. So this is actually my rain fly for the hammock, right? Kura had that big old bag packed into this little bitty guy. Unless you're like a master map folder, you will never get that thing back in that bag again. But it's a nice bag, so I'm going to hold on to it. So I just, this morning, picked up a stuff sack, threw that in there. A little bit bigger than what I would like, but I know it's always going to go back in. So now we're going to have our smaller stuff here. I got the actual hammock itself, my pillow, my bug net, my mini hammock, which hangs up underneath to store my gear in. So I think what I might do here, I might just utilize this other gray bag and put the mini hammock in there, put the bug net in there. I don't think I'm going to be using the bug net for a few more months anyways. Starts getting that warm. It's air conditioning season anyways. We're going to stuff the stuff sack inside the stuff sack. Maybe possibly. There we go. A little bit of consolidating there. Put that guy down in there. Perfect. Fits like a dollar store condom. Don't buy your rubbers from the dollar store, guys. Just saying. That's how you pay child support. Last two items that are going to go up in here. So I have my Night Owl camp pillow and the actual koala hammock itself. We're going to shove that guy up in there. And we're going to pick that guy back up. Shove him in there. So, and now everything's up in there. So I'm not gonna lie, I did do a test run on this. I actually first hung it up Friday evening, drove around with it all weekend. It will obstruct my rear view a little bit, but not enough to where it is any kind of issue like that. So really now my only concern or issues I've had excuse me, is occasionally something will want to fall out of the back. So my thought on that is take some of that nylon webbing and just make me another strap, run from the top of the roll bar and through the center, and then I can cinch this guy up some, and then that's going to bring the back end of that net up tight. But I'll be honest with you, that's in there pretty good, pretty snug. I don't think it's going to be too much of an issue. So at this point, the only two items that I have loose is just my camp chair and my little aluminum table. Two items that if they get dinged up, damaged, it's not going to be the end of the world. So I am quite happy. Very pleased with it. So get in there, take you a good look. Like I said, under 40 bucks. And we are good to go. And like I said at the very beginning, this is only about storage. It's got nothing to do with organization. So I hope you guys enjoyed it, and hopefully maybe some use to you. And yeah, I'll let you guys know how it works in the future. You know, if I have any issues with it, I will definitely keep you guys updated, but I don't foresee any issue. The only issue that I could possibly foresee is maybe the straps on the backpack coming loose. At that point, I can figure something else out. But yeah, I'm happy with it. So I appreciate you guys sticking around, watching the whole video. If you like what you seen here, hit that subscribe button. Hit the subscribe button. Hit that like button, and ring the bell. And I'm going to try to keep bringing you guys a video. Try to on a weekly basis. And I know the content's a little thin right now, but that's going to come with time. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you next time. Mr. Well Shit, peace out.